Hey guys, it's Sarah, and I'm here with another Victoria Marie layout. And this is a challenge that she issued in her online crop that she has just recently done. And it is to scrapbook older pictures. And she called it Back in the Day. And you're supposed to take some pictures and just scrapbook a older time in your life or you know one of her challenges was think about a year in your life and document some things about that. So I decided to get out my album that I actually have that is called Back in the Day. And I am actually trying to take some older pictures that I have and scrapbook some things from my childhood and just some things of me growing up. And I had started that a while ago, and then I haven't touched it for quite a long time. So I went into that album iris container that I have, and I had pictures already printed, and I decided to do my senior pictures. And I already had these ready to go. I just needed to make a layout, so that's what I'm doing here. Now for this album, all of my pictures are going to be backed on craft cardstock. That's kind of a running theme that I have going on in that album. And so I have the craft cardstock in the background there. Even if it's only poking out a little bit, it's something that's going to be cohesive throughout the entire album. And I have this paper here, which is Cosmo Cricket, I think. It's so old. I think this was from 2009 from what I remember when I was pulling off the branding strip. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so old. But I really like it. And I'm going to go with mostly greens here. That's kind of the theme I'm going for because one of my pictures is backed in green and then the other one is blue. So I'll pull out a couple little blue tones too. But I did take this piece of paper as well, and this is from Harley Quinn's Designs, and this is, I don't think they're around anymore. I went to a home party when we lived in San Antonio, and it was like a home crafting thing, and I think the designers were there. So I don't think it took off nationally, but I bought a few supplies from them at the party. So I still had that piece of paper and just the tones go really nicely here. And then that one that I cut up really small is actually a 6x8 from a 6x8 paper pad, which I've been seeing lately, which are so fantastic. And I think it's from Chamel. And I pulled out one that I'm going to I cut it up and I'm going to layer it up a little bit behind the photos. You'll see how I do that here in a second. But I want them to be peeking out almost like a paper layer. So I'm going to do that. But when I do it that way, it was too big. And so I'm going to just kind of overlap them. As you can see, just make them a little bit smaller. And then I'll put my photos on top. So it looks like just one strip along the back of those. And then I have a doily where I'm going to do my title and then these two little frames here. Now these frames are from the same pattern paper that I cut out the ones from my die cut challenge. So I grabbed two that had that blue color on them, and I'm going to use those for my journaling. And I really like the way that everything turns out. So I'm going to go ahead and get this paper down. And I used chalk ink to ink the edges of all the papers. I haven't used chalk ink in a while, and I have quite a bit, so that's something that I kind of want to maybe pull out and start using here a little bit more. And then I have a couple different washi tapes I'm going to use also to ground my photos. I have a blue and yellow one that have triangles on them, and then this one is a yellow, kind of almost a gradient yellow. And then I will put down my pattern papers here right on top of that washi tape. And I really like how the paper is like an ombre almost, and it starts out with, yellow and green and then goes into blue and purple. It's really pretty. I just didn't need the paper as a whole as it was, so I liked being able to cut it up and use it in different pieces here. And then when I put the photo on top of it, you don't see the line there, so you can't tell that it's a cut up piece of paper. It looks like it's just one strip. So I really like the way that that looks. And then my initial thought was to put the doily in the center of the layout, but when I started putting things down, my pictures just took up too much room for that. So I'm going to put it up here in the upper left-hand corner. And then I'm using these gold thickers that I bought at Tuesday Morning recently. I've never used these, haven't used them yet, and they are just so gorgeous. It's a beautiful, like a script font, and they're gold and puffy. And I spelled out the word senior year. And then I'm going to use these right here that are in a rose gold, and I'm going to do the year which was 1997 for me. That was my senior year of high school. And I just think that fits perfectly in the center of that doily. So that is where I'm going to do my title. Now this little package I have is from, okay, that glitter goes everywhere. And so I put that in the trash. If you guys know me, I can't stand loose glitter. Like I can't do it. I'm freaking out. I can't stand it. I'm wiping off my desk. It is everywhere. I grab like a wet wipe and I'm wiping everything down. I can't take it. That is from, I think, I want to say that is from Close to My Heart or Stampin' Up or something. I can't remember. Someone sent that to me. It was like a package deal. So you got like the glitter cutouts and then the bows and like all that stuff came in one little package there. So I'm going to use a couple of things from there, and I like the green color. Now here, there's Layla. You can see her elbow. She's coming in and saying hi. She hits my camera by accident, so my angle's going to change right there. And I don't realize that she did it, so the angle stays that way. I'm sorry, guys. I just didn't realize she had hit it and changed the angle a little bit, but you can still see everything. But she came in to give me a hug and messed up all my stuff like normal, right? Okay, so I'm getting my title down here, and then I did grab a piece of glitter paper, green glitter paper that is a scrap that I had sitting next to my desk, and that does not come off. The glitter stays put, so I'm going to use that instead of the other stuff that I was thinking about using. I have this little wood veneer arrow that has green on it, and I think it says "You Are Here" with a little geotag. And since I'm talking about this time in my life, basically, I thought that went really nicely. And I'm grabbing a piece of cardstock, a white piece of cardstock here, and I'm going to write down where I went to high school. So I went to Garfield Senior High School in Woodbridge, Virginia. That's where I graduated from high school. So I just wrote that down. I'm going to cut that out and stick it underneath that piece, and I'm going to go ahead and ink the edges of that so that it matches with the papers and all that. And for my, am I going to do my journaling? Yeah, for my journaling, I'm going to do a couple things. So I'm going to stamp. I'm using these little wooden letter stamps that I've had for years and years and years. I have no idea where I even got them. But I'm on one of these cards on the bottom, I'm going to write down pop culture. I'm stamping out pop culture. So I'm going to write a few things about what happened in the world when I was that year. And then on this one, I'm going to do my favorites. So I'll do some things that were kind of my personal favorite things. So for pop culture, I think I put that the first Harry Potter book was released. That was the first year. Yeah, the first Harry Potter book was released in 97. I talked about Princess Diana because she was killed in the car crash in 1997. And then I think I talk about Mike Tyson as well, because that's the year that, that fight with Evander Holyfield where he bit his ear off. So I talk about that, those three things in that. And then for favorites, I think I put my favorite movie was Titanic. And then I put my favorite sports team was the Atlanta Braves. I was really into baseball at that time. I don't watch baseball anymore, but at the time I did. And then for my favorite author, I put Danielle Steele because I was really into Danielle Steele at the time. So those were kind of some of my favorite things when I was a senior in high school. And then for this glitter paper, I'm going to punch out 3 hearts, and I'm going to scatter those, and then I'm going to use those bows as well. And it takes me a little bit, I cut a lot of it out because I was thinking a lot and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, and I felt like I needed more things. So I spend a lot of time kind of thinking and trying to figure out what I want to do and where I want things to go. But I do have the hearts, and then I'm going to do 2 of these bows. These bows have gold on them where the other bows have silver. So I'm going to use the gold because I'm about to pull out some gold sequins stars. And I'm trying to think about what sequins I want to use. And do I want a color or do I want to go with gold? And I decided to go with gold to highlight the title and the gold in the bows as well. And I know I'm just looking to see what I have, basically. I had a couple options for gold and I couldn't decide if I wanted like stars or just the round sequins, you know. Um, I decided to go with the stars because I have this bag of Studio Calico stars and there's so many in there. It's ridiculous and they're tiny. So I'm going to go ahead and use up some of these. And as you can see, they are teeny tiny and there are a ton in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some glue dots to put these down because that's my favorite way to put down sequins. Now these are small than normal, so I'm actually going to end up needing to work on the glue dots. But what I'm doing is I'm picking them up with my finger, just letting them stick onto my finger, and I'm holding it over my layout, and I'm just trying to let them scatter a little bit. And I do move around some, as you can see. I don't want any on top of my pictures and stuff or over top of my journaling, but for the most part, I try to keep them where they land or close to it. Now for the sequins, since they are so small, I'm cutting my glue dots in half and then using half a glue dot on each sequin so that it doesn't stick out too much for the adhesive. So that's what I'm doing here. That takes me a while, so I cut a lot of that out. But here is my finished layout. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you again soon.